Hi everyone, my name is Karen, this is my channel RatherBeReading, and today I'm bringing to you my Around the Year in 52 Books Reading Challenge 2017 TBR. I recently uploaded my 2017 goals video, which if you haven't seen, I will link in the cards for you up above. And in that video, I mentioned that I would be once again participating in the Around the Year in 52 Books challenge. I will leave a link to the Goodreads group for the challenge down below. The idea of this challenge is that for each of the 52 weeks in the year, there is a different challenge. You can complete the challenges on the week-by-week basis. I'm not doing that. I am taking all 52 challenges and just trying to check them off throughout the year. I mentioned in my 2017 goals video that what I really wanted to do this year was check off as many of the challenges as possible with books that are on my physical TBR shelf or books that I already know that I'm going to be reading in 2017, so that there aren't too many books that I'm going to have to request from the library in order to meet these challenges. So I have been through all 52 challenges and basically assigned a book for each of them with a few exceptions. So let's just go through now and I'll talk about each of the challenges and which book I'm hoping to read to complete it. I will say that these are subject to change. There is a possibility that I may not get to one of the books, or I may read something else that I realize checks it off, and so I won't get to that book. I'm not too sure. It is subject to change, but these are the books that I'm hoping to read. Also, apologies if I'm looking down a little bit. I am just referring to my laptop where I have written out all the challenges, but let's jump in. Challenge number 1 is to read a book from the 2016 Goodreads Choice Awards. For this one, I have chosen The Couple Next Door by Shari LaPena. This book was nominated in the mystery thriller category. Challenge 2 is a book with at least 2 perspectives. For this, I have chosen The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. Challenge 3, a book you meant to read in 2016. For this, I've picked If She Did It by Jessica Treadway. This is basically the first book that was on my physical TBR, so the book that I was most planning to get to that I didn't get to in 2015. In 2016, and so I'm hoping to, well, I have already read it, so I've definitely checked that one off. The next challenge, challenge 4, is a title that doesn't contain the letter E. For that, I have chosen City of Glass by Cassandra Clare. Challenge 5, a historical fiction. For that, I have chosen Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. Challenge 6, a book being released as a movie in 2017. For this, I have chosen A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. Challenge 7, a book with an animal on the cover or in the title. For this one, I have chosen The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, which has an animal in the title and on the cover. Challenge number 8 is to read a book written by a person of color. For this, I have chosen Shatter Me by Tahara Mofi. I understand that Tahara Mofi is of Iranian heritage. A book in the middle of your TBR list is challenge 9. For that, I basically went to my Goodreads to read list, of which I have 24 pages, and so I went to page 12 and I had a look through that, and there was one book on that page which I own, which is really great, and that is The Love That Split the World by Emily Henry, which I am planning to buddy read this year with Aoife from Fred Weasley Died Laughing, so that was a really good one to check off. Challenge 10 is to read a book with a dual timeline. For that, I have chosen Daughter by Jane Schmilt. Challenge 11, a category from another challenge. So for this one, I have taken a category that was in the Pop Sugar 2017 challenge, and for that I chose a book with a red spine, and for that I've chosen Forbidden by Tabitha Suzuma, which has been a book that I've been wanting to read for ages. Challenge number 12 is to read a book based on a myth. This one I'm not 100% sure on. I've tentatively written in Poison Princess by Cressley Cole. I understand this has to do with some kind of mythology, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So if you guys know if that's correct, I'd love for you guys to let me know in the comments down below, or if you have another great suggestion for something based on mythology, that would be really awesome. Challenge 13 is to read a book recommended by one of your favorite authors. For this, I have chosen Room by Emma Donoghue, which when I was looking online, I understand has been recommended in the past by Jodi Picoult, who's one of my favorite authors. Challenge 14 was to read a book with a strong female character. Again, I'm not 100% sure because I haven't read the book yet, but for this I've chosen The Winner's Curse by Marie Rakowski, which from what I understand, I believe the main character in that is a strong female character. So again, if you guys could confirm, if you know that in the comments down below, that'd be awesome. We then have Challenge 15, which is to read a book written or set in Scandinavia, so that's Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, or Iceland. For this, I have chosen The Farm by Tom Rob Smith, which is set in Sweden, and I believe that the author does also have Swedish heritage. And again, I am already planning to buddy read this at some point in 2017 with Mel over at That Girl Bookworm, so that's another great one to check off. And for Challenge 16, we have a mystery book, which I have chosen Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. Challenge 17 is a book with illustrations. For this, I've chosen Sweet Tooth Volume 1 by Jeff Lemire, which is, of course, a graphic novel. Challenge 18 is to read a really long book, which is classified as being over 600 pages. For this, I've chosen City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare, which my edition of it that I own is 664 pages. Challenge 19 is to read a New York Times bestseller. This one was actually... there's a lot of books that are New York Times bestsellers, but I wasn't really sure, like, kind of, it was going to take me a while. Anyway, I clicked through everything. I've chosen Orange, the Complete Collection, Volume 2 by Ishigo Takano. This is a manga. It is only a 2-volume manga, which I was planning to read in 2017. So when I read the second volume of that, that will check off this challenge because that was on the New York Times bestseller list. Challenge 20 is a book that you've owned for a while that you haven't gotten around to reading. For that, I have chosen Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is a book that I actually received as a gift for my birthday in 2015, and I haven't read yet, so I've definitely been meaning to get around to reading it. Challenge 21 is to read a book that is a continuation of a book you've already read, so basically a continuation in a series. So for this, I just chose The Golden Lily by Rochelle Mead. That's the second book in the Bloodline series. Challenge 22 is to read a book by an author you haven't read before. For this, I chose Amy and Roger's Epic Detour by Morgan Matson. I've never read anything by Morgan Matson. I've been meaning to read her for a really long time. Challenge 23 is to read a book from the BBC The Big Read list, and for this I've chosen Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell, which is quite ambitious because if you've seen that book, you know it's friggin' ginormous. Challenge 24 is to read a book by at least 2 authors. For this I've chosen These Broken Stars by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. Challenge 25 is a book about a famous historical figure. Again, this one I'm a little bit unsure about. I've tentatively chosen Wolf by Wolf by Ryan Groudon because I understand that it is set in an alternate history where Germany and Hitler were successful during World War II, and Adolf Hitler is currently in power. And the main character is a shapeshifter, and she enters a motorcycle race in which the winner gets an audience with Hitler so that she can kill him. I'm not sure how much involvement like Hitler has in the book, but he is a historical figure, so I've chosen that book for that. But let me know down below if you've read that book, whether you think it does fit this category. Challenge 26 is to read an adventure book. For this, I've chosen Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. Challenge 27 is a book by one of your favorite authors. For this one, I'm not sure which one it'll be yet, but it'll either be Once and For All by Sarah Dessen or Small Great Things by Jodi Picoult. This is the most recent release from both of them, which is I've read all of their books and I want to read their most recent release. So whichever of those I managed to get to in 2017 will check off that challenge. Challenge 28 is to read a non-fiction. For this, I've chosen Patrick Swayze, One Last Dance by Wendy Lee. Challenge 29 is a book published outside the 4 major publishing houses, being Simon & Schuster, HarperCollins, Penguin Random House, and Hachette Livre. Is that how you say that? For this, I've chosen Angel Fall by Susan E., which I understand is published by Skyscape, which as far as I could tell is not connected to any of the major 4 publishing houses. Again, if you know that that's incorrect, let me know, but I believe that's correct. Challenge 30 is a book from the Goodreads Top 100 YA books. For this, I've chosen Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. Challenge 31 is a book from a subgenre of your favorite genre. I've mentioned a couple of times on this channel that I don't really have a favorite genre. if I was like, had a gun to my head and I had to pick a favorite genre, I would probably say mystery thrillers. And so as a subgenre of that, I have chosen psychological thriller. And so for that, I will be reading Pretty Baby by Mary Kubica. Challenge 32 is a book with a long title, so that's 5 or more words. This excludes subtitles. For that, I have chosen A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Challenge 33 is to read a magical realism book. For that, I have chosen The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender by Leslie Walton. Challenge 34 is to read a book set in or by an author from the Southern Hemisphere. For that, I have chosen This Shattered World by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. I understand that Amy Kaufman is Australian. Challenge 35 is to read a book where one of the main characters is royalty. For this, I have chosen King's Cage, which is the 3rd book in the Red Queen series, and that comes out in January, I think, of 2017. I will be reading it at some point in the year. Challenge 36 is to read a Hugo Award winner or nominee. For this, I have chosen Uprooted by Naomi Novik, which was nominated, I believe, in 2016. Challenge 37 is just to read a book that you choose randomly. For that, I've put in Fire and Flood by Victoria Scott. Challenge 38 is to read a novel inspired by a work of classic literature. For this, I have chosen The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh, which I understand is based on the Arabian Nights, or I think it's Arabian Nights. I can't remember, there's another title for it, but I believe it's based on that. 39 is to read an epistolary fiction. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that word correctly, but for this, I've chosen Bridget Jones' Diary by Helen Fielding, which is one of the books that I am planning to read to check off my other challenge goal for myself in 2017, to read some of the books that have been on my Goodreads to read list for a really long time. That's one of those books. Now, challenge 40 is to read a book published in 2017. I haven't written in anything for this yet because I don't know for sure of any books that are 2017 releases that I'll definitely be reading. So I haven't written anything in for that yet, but I will at some point figure out what I'll be reading for that. Challenge 41 is to read a book with an unreliable narrator. For that, I have chosen Before I Go to Sleep by S.J. Watson. Challenge 42 is a best book, of the 21st century so far. For that, I've chosen The City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. Challenge 43 is a book with a chilling atmosphere, scary, unsettling, cold, etc. For that, I've chosen Coraline by Neil Gaiman. This was on a couple of the lists that I looked at, and I have seen the movie of Coraline, and it is creepy AF, so that should definitely work. Challenge 44 is another one that I haven't picked anything out for yet, and that is a recommendation from the What Should I Read Next? So What Should I Read Next, I believe, is a website where you can just put in a book that you've enjoyed and it'll give you recommendations based on that. So I haven't put anything in for that yet because I basically just want to save that for once I read a book in 2017 that I really, really love and I want something similar. I'll then go to that website and pick a book for this challenge based on that. So I haven't picked one out for that yet. Challenge 45 is to read a book with a one-word title. For this, I've chosen Slammed by Colleen Hoover. Challenge 46 is a time travel novel. Now for this one, I have tentatively written in 11/22/63 by Stephen King because it's a book I've been wanting to read for a really long time. However, I don't own this book and I don't need to read it to check off any other challenge. I'm not sure that I would get to it in 2017 if it wasn't for this challenge. So if I happen to read something else throughout the year that has time travel elements, I may not get to this book, but I am tentatively putting that one in there at the moment. Challenge 47 is to pick a past suggestion that didn't win. So this was just to pick another suggestion that was suggested as a category for this challenge that they didn't pick. For that, I chose a book with a season in the title as my challenge, and I've chosen to check that off, Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson. Challenge 48 is to read a banned book. For this, I've chosen Looking for Alaska by John Green, which I understand was banned for reasons of having offensive language and being too sexually explicit for children. Or teenagers. And again, this is a book that I'm hoping to read as it's one of the books that's been on my Goodreads to read list for a really long time. Challenge 49 is another one that I haven't written anything in for yet. That is a book from someone else's bookshelf. At the moment, I have a couple of books that I'm planning to read that are books that are my mother's. However, I'm already using those to check off other challenges and I don't want to double up at all. So I may just end up borrowing a book off someone else, but I'm not sure what that'll be at this point. Challenge 50 is to read a Penguin modern classic. For that, I will be reading Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Challenge 51 is to read a collection, either of essays, short stories, poetry, plays, etc. For that, I have chosen Summer Days and Summer Nights, which is a collection of short stories edited by Stephanie Perkins. And the final challenge is to read a book set in a fictional location, and for that I have chosen Days of Blood and Starlight by Laini Taylor. So those are the 52 challenges and most of the books that I'm hoping to read this year to check them off. This video also gives you an idea of a lot of the books that I will hopefully be reading in the year of 2017. Hopefully I'll be getting to a lot more books than this as well, as this is just 52 books and I have set my Goodreads challenge at 130 this year, but this will just be hopefully a small selection of the awesome books that I get to in 2017. I would love to chat with you guys in the comments down below if you're participating in the Around the Year in 52 Books challenge, or if you're participating in any other reading challenges as well. I'd be really interested in that. So let's chat down below. Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you want to see more from my channel. That's all I've got for this video today. Bye guys.